So now, obviously, the first loop on my hook corresponds to the first vertical bar of the forward pass. And I'm just going to insert my hook through the next vertical bar. And now I'm going to work Tunisian simple stitch. Nothing exotic going on here. This is the standard Tunisian simple stitch. If you don't know how to do Tunisian simple stitch, check out our Tunisian crochet tutorials on our website at stitchdiva.com. Not doing anything new beyond what we've laid out in those tutorials there, just pulling up a loop in each vertical bar. But now, because my work is not flat as it typically is with Tunisian crochet, but it's in a round, I'm only going to be able to go so far before I really can't comfortably, I can't pick this one up anymore. And this is where the whole magic loop, Tunisian loop, magic loop concept borrowed from knitting comes in. I can't work forward anymore, although I do need to complete the round. I've essentially completed about half of the round. I'm going to take my crochet hook, pull, maybe pull out a foot or something. It really doesn't matter as long as you've got a comfortable amount that you've worked. So you see that I've pulled out a nice loop. There's my work. And I'm going to take my hook now and continue on the other side, going through the next vertical bar. There's the last vertical bar where I picked up a loop in. Now insert my hook through the next vertical bar of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now when I do, I'm going to give it a nice tug so that I don't have loose loops in my work. And I'm going to work to the very end of the round. A lot of times the very last vertical bar of the round is a little bit hard to see. Okay, I found it. I've now got all of the loops onto my hook. Okay, my extended hook. Again, for the reverse pass with standard crochet is yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. But with the circular technique, what I'm going to do, the Tunisian loop technique, I'm going to yarn over. Before I yarn over, pull through 1, I'm going to take my working yarn, bring it under this edge of the extended loop right next to the very first loop of the row. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1, and now I'm just going to yarn over, again, bringing the working yarn under the extended cable, yarn over, pull through 2. And now just yarn over, pull through 2 all the way back. Now, when I have one loop remaining on my hook from this side of the circle, again, I just scoop my magic loop and so that it's scoop my magic loop so that now all of I've worked loops off the hook from this side of the circle. Now I'm going to continue working them off from this side of the circle. And I will continue yarning over, pulling through 2 until I have 3 loops from the forward pass plus those 2 remaining threads on my hook. I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm working them off. Here's those 2 threads. I want to work off that till I have 3 loops remaining on my hook. Here I have 3 loops remaining on my hook plus these 2 threads. Again, I'm going to take the very first vertical bar from the row, kind of scoot them under that first vertical bar. So the 2 threads, I scoot that first vertical bar over those 2 threads. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull through all 3 of those so that now I just have 2 loops remaining on the hook. yarn over, pull through 2. And you can see here that I have started to work in the round with the Tunisian loop technique. Now, one thing you'll note, I'm working a very small diameter. This is only about 1.5 inches, 2 inch work. I could work a sweater in the round with this very same hook. The beauty of the Denise system is all I have to do is take this hook off of the cable and I can work with a different diameter Tunisian crochet hook based on what size yarn. But as far as the cable, this 152-inch cable would virtually make anything that you would want to make, any piece of clothing, probably any sized clothing. I wanted to go ahead and show a sample of fabric that was created using this technique. This is our a hat from our slouchy Tunisian cap collection, and you can see this is this was a hat created using the Tunisian loop method in the round. And as I turn this fabric around and around to show where the end and the beginning of the fabric is, it's about here. So you can see it's almost imperceptible. When you start out using the technique, you may want to do a swatch just to make sure. You need to make sure when you create those 2 loops on the hook at the end of the reverse pass, those 2 threads, you want to make sure that they're done with the right tension so that you get a really nice transition between the beginning and the end of the fabric. And the nice thing about this technique is that the strands of the reverse pass that are always behind the vertical bars in Tunisian crochet, you know, they run continuously throughout the fabric. Here's another sample showing the same in a different yarn, a different hat in the same collection. You can see here there's a slight variation in the fabric, but it's really not where like you're essentially seaming it together as you work, but it's pretty imperceptible. You do have to pretty much look for it. One of the things that you could do with this technique that you can't do with the other technique, the Tunisian crochet in the round technique, the spiral technique, is anytime you want to do actual stripes, where you really do need to be working your fabric in concentric circles instead of a spiral, or you're working in a pattern such as 3-color Tunisian, and this is a little snippet of 3-color Tunisian. You can see here, you can work 3-color Tunisian in the round using this technique as well. So that's pretty handy.